My name is Arlene Wilgosh. I am the chair of the board of directors for Réseau Compassion Network. I've been on the board since 2017. Started on the board at the invitation of the chair, Leo Chartrand, at that time.
Léo
Sorry.
Charrière.
Thank you, yes. And to my surprise, they put me in charge of finance, on the chair of the finance committee.
And since when are you the chair of the board? It's been 2 years, right?
2 years, yes.
I think we're on year 2.
2023.
Time flies.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Arlene. Can you tell us briefly about you, your professional journey, and how it led you to be involved with RCN?
So I'm a nurse by profession. Worked in acute care, hospitals, worked in personal care homes, urban centers as well as rural. Became involved with the government when they were establishing the regional health authorities. Became the first female deputy minister of health for the province of Manitoba. And then I applied for and became the CEO of the Winnipeg Regional Health Authority. And it was through my journey as a deputy minister and as the CEO that I became aware of, it was the Catholic Health Corporation of Manitoba at that time. And when I was the CEO, I developed more stronger working relationships with the CEOs of many of the communities of service that are a part of the Réseau network.
Thank you. And while you were working as a Deputy Minister of Health for the province, as well as President and CEO of the WRHA, do you remember our Réseau Compassion Network was perceived at that time?
That was an interesting time, I think, looking back. It was a relatively new NDP government, excuse me, new regional health authorities, new WRHA. The Catholic Health Corporation was new at that time as well. And as with any major change in a big system, which the health system is, it takes time to establish relationships, to learn how to communicate with each other, develop trust. So there were some hiccups and some rocky spots. But I can look back and see an evolution in time of those relationships developing and strengthening. And I think we're at a spot now where government is actually inviting us to participate in tables.
Yeah, absolutely, right? And then, but when it's all started, I think they were trying to figure out for themselves how to position the new entity and what would be their responsibility. So, like, the corporation at that point was just a
It would be, yeah.
bizarre.
So I was on the other side at that
Yes.
point. Was with government, and it was trying to. There was a lot of discussion at that point whether or not facilities should all devolve to regional health authorities, and of course St. Boniface Hospital is a pivotal member for Réseau, for the Catholic Health Corporation, a major provider of services. And I think if you were to ask the Francophone community, the nuns, it was providing service as almost as a community hospital to the Francophone population. You asked the CEO of the WRHA at that time, this was a major teaching hospital that's providing cardiac services, specialized services, so it's a given you should be a part of the regional system. And how do you develop a working relationship? And so we worked hard at that, and to the point where Dr. Tetro, when he was CEO, sat at the senior management table of the WRHA, was in charge of French language services program for the entire region. Dr. Tetro and I had many good, honest conversations about working relationships and roles and responsibilities, and Maybe that's how I came to the attention of the Catholic Health Corporation. Yeah.
So you saw it from like firsthand, right? But on the
Yes.
other side?
On the other side, yeah.
So you must be proud 25 years later of how RCN is working, all their network organization members are working, how they have an impact in the health and social services field in Winnipeg and in Manitoba. Like,
Oh, absolutely. I'm very proud. I'm proud to be a member of the board and to be a part of the organization. I think looking back, there was never a doubt that the services and on the front lines, the interaction with people was very important. As always, it's the governance and who's going to tell us what to do and how are we going to do it. And but no, I'm very very pleased, very proud. I'm excited actually to be a part of the organization.
glad to hear. So each member organization has its own mission, its own values, influenced by the needs of society. How does inform RCN own values and project?
Well, to me, I separate values out a little bit because I think the values of each organization, if you were to stand back and look at the words, they probably are very similar from organization to organization, but the process for the board to develop those values is important for the governance of the organization and developing those in conjunction with the senior management team. And bearing in mind what the nuns would have valued and what did they bring to the organizations. RCN, Réseau Compassion Network, went through a similar process in developing, and every so often we sit down as a board and refresh and make sure that the current board members are subscribing, believe in those same values and the mission.
And we do at RCN boards meeting often refer to that accountability framework that we have with the organization to make sure that like they align, we are that family, and we're always act or be in the world the way that the sisters would
Absolutely.
want us to be, right? Because we inherit those missions of
Yes,
them, right?
yes. I remember when I first joined the board, our first strategic planning session, where we were visiting the values and the mission, somebody coined the phrase, what would the nuns have said? What would the nuns be thinking when they were coming, up the Red River in their canoe, and what would they see? And that has really stuck with me all these years. So
But the Grey Nun work in governance, right? They were like owning those organizations, but like a lot of their work was governance. But also at all levels of the organization, they founded to keep the mission alive, a way of being. I don't know if I express myself correctly. This compassionate way. There was a governance part, like the making sure that all the boards are well informed, well structured, strong boards leading, able to make good decisions. But there was also that deep sense of leading their board and on the ground with compassion, because there was some things that like was their way of being, right? Their way of living. So do you feel that RCN is still doing this with the boards that they appoint? That transmission of the importance of leading with compassion.
short answer, yes.
That was a long question. So I'm glad you have a short answer for me. I think I was like making way in my mind of like, okay, where do I want to go there?
So I have a variety of thoughts going through my mind as you're speaking. So one of the reasons why I became a nurse was because of caring for the patient, the person. When I became deputy minister, somebody said, well, how are you caring for the patient? But when you're making policy decisions or governance decisions, you are still caring for the patient, but in a different way. RCN and its board and the boards of the networks are very focused on caring for the people that need our services, people in need. And in order to do that, you have to have strong governance, and that filters down through the organization. And the values need to be shared throughout the organization. And at RCN, we work very hard on the governance ourselves. We have to be a role model for our boards. We work hard to choose board members that we think share the same passion and the same vision for the services that are provided by the organization that they may join the board for. We work with the boards through the accountability framework. We also provide governance opportunities. So there is the director prep. So we provide, RCN provides a membership to director prep for every director in the network, the entire network. And that provides those board members with tools. They have a new AI tool where you can ask it all kinds of governance questions. It's really fantastic. So strong boards, strong governance lead to strong staff, lead to frontline service for our patients.
We also offer to our board's member the opportunity to do the sanyas
Yes,
orientation,
correct.
about reconciliation, because that's an aspect that is
Correct.
very, very important for RCN.
Correct.
And that goes into the compassion, being able to care for everybody.
Yes.
Inclusion, right? So there's sanyas that is also offered, and we also develop a series of mini
Compassion.
retreats.
Yes.
The retreat that you attend once,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So a full retreat or mini retreat that we invite our board member to participate
Exactly.
as well. So
Yes.
they link the governance responsibility with
the
being human and being
compassionate.
present.
Yeah, and being present. Yes.
Anything else about this that you'd like to add?
No, it just works really much for me. Just
But
this.
that's something that was not there 25 years ago, was it, Arlene? Like, is that something that
I don't believe so. I mean, I did not hear about it. At that point, my recollection, recognizing that I was a distance away, was that it was more of a business focus. And I think it still is a business focus now, but there is concentrated work on the compassion and the caring. I mean, we changed our name, right? That it was meant so that it demonstrates to anybody that we meet that reads our social media that we are about compassion. We are a network of compassionate organizations.
agreed? So that is part of the evolution
Correct.
of making sure that our staff members, that our CEOs, that our boards member, that the whole network, it's about 8,000 people, learn the importance about caring for themselves, about compassion. What does
Yes.
that mean? Compassion.
Self-compassion as well as compassion for others.
I think that's important to say because it's relatively new or unheard that a network of organization would value and make
Well,
it
I think
like
that's what makes our organizations different. and draws people to work in our organizations because of the philosophy, the compassion philosophy. It's not just about the science of medicine, like there is this the science of the person and looking at the person in totality. And yeah, I think it gives our organizations a different perspective, a different edge, positive edge.
Agreed. What was or still is the biggest challenge for Réseau Compassion Network, you think?
So no organization works in a vacuum. And we have a relationship with the church. And we're in interesting times with the synod just finishing, interesting times with political dynamics and philosophies. It's our responsibility as a sponsor organization to ensure that our facilities, our staff are aware of the social teachings of the church. At the same time, many of the people that come to us for service may feel disenfranchised by the social teachings of the church and don't feel connected. And how can we work to make those two issues? You know, somebody said to me once, the world is messy, and we need to find a way to ensure that we are fulfilling our sponsor role at the same time as remaining relevant to our organizations and to the people that need the service, and find a balance through there. So the welcoming church, what does that mean for people that are coming that may not feel welcome by the Catholic Church? That to me is the biggest challenge right now.
I think one of the beautiful thing about this challenge is that we are more and more open to discuss about it, to have frank conversation and acknowledge, right? Acknowledging
Yes.
what our network organization members are going through when they actually have to serve people that
That's
may not
right.
feel welcome. And what
Yes.
does that mean for us as a sponsor as well? This is a challenge, but this is also a gift of some sort.
Every challenge is an opportunity. Yes. And I mean, we're not alone, right? At the national level, it's also being discussed. It's being discussed internationally. That's what happened at the synod as well, right? So more work to be done, but at least we're having the dialogue, starting the dialogue. And it will be baby steps to try and address it. You know, I mean, I could go into more detail, but some people think if our member organizations walk in the Pride Parade, that automatically means we're going to do gender reassignment surgery at St. Boniface. Not necessarily so. There is a long distance between those two philosophies and approaches, actions, processes. So,
And a lot of nuance. It's
yes,
not all black and white on all
that's correct.
matter or
That's
on all
correct.
subject,
Yes,
right?
yes, yeah.
Absolutely. What is your contribution personally? I would like to start personally because you've been involved for years with Réseau Compassion Network that you are the proudest of, and why?
So um, I don't think I have a personal contribution. My personal contribution is to be a good board member, come to meetings, but that's kind of boring, right? I think what I'm proud of is the organization and how it's evolving and the initiatives that we've been involved in since I joined the board. So the donation of the land to the clan mothers, the development or the establishment of an Indigenous First Nations advisory committee to the board. So those types of things. I'm just proud of the organization and to be a part of it. So in any which way I can contribute to make that happen, that makes me happy.
So about RCN then, if you overlook the last 25 years, you were not there for the last 25 years, or like on the other side
On
of
the
it,
other
right? So when you look at it, what project or initiative would make, well, you talk about the transfer of the land to clan mothers. That's big. And anything else that stand out for you that you said, oh yeah, we worked on this for 10 years, and or like this was like so many discussion and so many meetings, and now we can say that we did that, or we put together this.
Le Suites Marion is something that I'm also very proud of. I mean, any chance I get, I'm driving people down Marion. That's our building, all the way to just a more minor contribution was providing money to Street Links in St. Boniface for them to be able to provide housing during the winter for homeless people. So you have more than $1 million project, and you have a few $1,000 project, but all of them are important. And the fact that the RCN board and management are in sync and work together to make the mission and the vision and our values come alive, to me it's exciting. And we do it in a purposeful way, very mindful of what we're doing. And we do it in a way such that we'll be here for another 25 or 50 or 75 years, so that the legacy that the nuns left us will continue on.
Meaningful contribution, meaningful partnerships.
Correct.
Because you talk about StreetLink, but I don't think we ever advertised that one. Like,
No. Well,
because
and yes.
and it's beautiful because that shows that we're not doing things
We can be behind the scenes making a
Yes.
difference.
like having some leverage, right?
Correct.
Being able to, I know our CEO says often, like, stretch our dollar by partnering
That's correct,
with
yes.
other organizations that are on the ground, on the field, offering services that they know their thing, but we want to partner with them because we
And
see the need.
yes, and
We
we're
see the
evolving
needs.
in how we develop those partnerships. I mean, you look at the partnership, the funding we're receiving federally to work on the recruitment of French language staff. We have partnerships now with the provincial government. The Street Links project came about through working with the municipal government. So historically, I don't believe the Catholic Health Corporation had those types of partnerships. And now, as the organization is evolving, people are inviting us to those tables.
The evolution brings us the opportunity for Réseau Compassion Network to put together their own project and initiative. When it's all started, it was more about governance.
Yes.
Now we're like also taking care of the governance. But I think, if I may, I think we feel we got pretty good at it, right? So we had a little bit more room of like saying, oh, where else can we make a difference? Is there a way that we can
Well, and
still
if
be a
the-
good sponsor for those
Yes.
organizations, but also allow ourselves to
Well,
be out
if
there?
if the nuns were coming in the canoe down the Red River right now, I don't think they would be focused on building another hospital. They would be looking at the needs of the people that they would be meeting, and that has to do more with homelessness, mental health and addiction support, addressing some of those basic needs, and that's where I believe Réseau is looking, right? Thinking like a nun again, and looking where the needs are.
So I'm guessing you answered a bit my next question, like on how do you see or where do you see RCN in 25 years?
Well, I see it being more of a mover and a shaker than it is right now, more leveraging, and still thinking like a nun and going where the needs are.
Anything else, Arlene, that you would like to add?
No, I'm just damn proud of the organization.
Well,
Seriously, yeah. So,
well, you've been the leader for
well, only 2 years.
only
I mean,
2 years.
2 out of
but on the
25
board,
isn't
on the
much.
board for longer and in the
Yeah.
system for
For a while, yeah.
a while.
Yeah.
So you're a strong witness.
Yes, I speak from experience.
There you go.
See all the wrinkles?
Thank you so much, Arlene.